I'm going to teach you the 4 steps of how you can hack your calendar for maximum creativity and fulfillment. The simple tools I'm about to share with you have been an absolute game changer for me personally in my own career as a music producer and small business owner. So if you're looking to maximize your creative output without compromising at all on personal fulfillment, then these 4 steps I'm about to share are made for you. All right, so step 1 is to take inventory of your priorities. As creatives and as people, it's so easy to get stuck in the hamster wheel of just doing, saying yes to every single opportunity that comes across our desk. But if we're honest, we're usually not very good at pausing for a moment to take inventory of things. So the first thing I want you to do is slow down for a moment and get out a pen and paper and write down, actually get out the pen and paper and write it down, every single thing that you would say you want to prioritize over the course of the month. As you're doing this, begin to objectively look at what's bringing you fruit in your life and what isn't. I recently did this exercise myself, and when I did, I realized that there was something I was actually making a pretty good amount of income from that I was really allocating a very small percentage of my time to. This allowed me to stop and ask questions like, I wonder what might happen if I allocated more of my time to this and gave it more of the attention that it may deserve. Honestly, this misallocation of time had been happening for months and months, but it took me pausing for a moment, slowing down, and actually taking inventory of my creative priorities to really fully get a grasp of what was going on. So after you've done this, it's time for step 2, which is time calculation and allocation of your priorities. Now, this is not the time to come up with a long list of excuses about why you can't focus on X, Y, and Z, why you're too busy, why life is so crazy, and so on and so forth. But actually make the deliberate choice as you write down the things that you claim to prioritize that you are going to give them the time and the focus that they deserve. Now, as always, priorities can and probably should change with time, but just go ahead and start with what's priority for you right now and today. Once you've done this, you need to calculate and properly allocate how long it's going to take you to accomplish each priority. Let me give you an example from my own career as a music producer and songwriter. I have a specific project that I want to prioritize writing, producing, and releasing 1 song a month for in my own business. I then calculated from my past experiences of doing this very thing before that it would take me on average 2 to 3 days per month to write, produce, and then release the song. So from this example, I knew to allocate the 2 to 3 days per month to this specific priority. I then continued the same exact pattern down the list of everything else I wanted to prioritize over the course of a month. Doing this time calculation and allocation is really that easy. You just need to look at how long it's going to take you to do something that you want to prioritize, and then give it the amount of time in the month that it deserves. So this leads us to step 3, which this step honestly sounds so simple, but this step right here is truly the hack. What you're gonna do is you're gonna schedule everything that you prioritize in any given month first. Before you schedule anything else at all, schedule all of your priorities first based on the time that you allocated and calculated in step 2. Again, this step seems so simple, but it actually requires a ton of discipline to implement because we have to put our money where our mouth is with aligning our time with our priorities. So let's take this a bit further. I would say if you ask the average person, hey, what in your life do you prioritize the absolute most? You would probably get an answer something like my wife, my kids, or my family. Now, it's so easy to say that we prioritize our family above anything else, but then life happens, work happens, opportunities happen. Oftentimes really good opportunities happen, but then our families that we say that we prioritize the absolute most in our life actually get our leftover time and not our prioritized time. The absolute same thing can ring true so often in our work life and our creative projects. It's so easy to say that we want to prioritize X, Y, and Z, but if you took a hard look at your calendar, would the time that you're spending reflect what's actually important to you? Now, honestly, I'm probably more guilty of this myself than you watching this video right now. When I recently took inventory of my own calendar, I found in so many areas that what I said I wanted to be prioritizing versus how the time on my calendar was actually allocated and spent did not perfectly match up at all. Again, making this shift seems so obvious and so simple, but scheduling my priorities first in the month before anything else has truly been a game changer for me. So all this leads us here to step 4, where after scheduling your priorities, you can now evaluate how much time is left over in the month and then fill your remaining time in accordingly. Again, how easy is it to do this whole process just completely backwards from what I've just laid out in the video? Fill up our time with whatever else just comes our way first, then squeeze in the things that we want to be prioritizing dead last. But the hack of this whole process truly is to flip this whole thing on its head and fill our time with our priorities first and then everything else last. Using myself as an example example here because honestly, I'm just as guilty of not being great at this at times in my life as anyone. I had several projects that from the steps above should have been taking around 2/3 of my time in a month, but I was really only giving 1/3 of my time in a month, or sometimes way less than that, to these things that were my quote unquote priorities. What I was doing instead is I was just filling up my calendar with opportunities, oftentimes good and really good opportunities that came my way. Songwriting sessions, production sessions, things that transparently pay me really well and move my business forward. But the problem with saying yes to all these opportunities is they didn't align with what I said my priorities truly were, and then everything else that I said I prioritized got the scraps of my time and the back burner of my creative focus and my creative energy. In implementing this practice, and I've already seen it myself time and time again, you're most likely gonna have to say no to a good or even really good opportunity if it's taking you away from the best opportunity. Let me say that again so that sinks in. You're most likely gonna have to say no to a good or even really good opportunity if it takes you away from the best opportunity in front of you. But as you're in the thick of implementing step 4 and those things come your way that are good opportunities that you might have to say no to for the best opportunity, you have to remember your why. That's the key to staying diligent to this whole thing. The why and the reason why you're doing this is to make your time align with your priorities. So that's it. These are the 4 steps to hack your calendar for maximum creativity, output, and personal fulfillment. I really believe that if you take the time and do the hard work to implement the 4 steps that I just laid out of taking inventory of your creative priorities, properly calculating and allocating the time of your priorities, scheduling everything that you want to prioritize in your month first, and then filling in your remaining time with everything else last, I really believe that you're going to see your creative output and your relationships flourish and your overall quality of life improve to the next level. Well, if this video was helpful and the last few minutes of watching this brought value to your life, your creativity, and your business, would you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell for more content just like this? If you watch this whole video and you're looking to take your creativity and fulfillment even further, I'm opening up a limited number of one-on-one coaching spots to help creatives and freelancers take inventory of their business and level up their creative output and freedom in their lives. If that's you, click on the link down below for more information. Until then, we'll see you next time.